The time is up for those who are corrupt. I wrote back in 2015 before the president even came into office. Basically that God was going to expose these people, including the Clintons, Barack Obama. All these guys are going to go down for corruption. God's going to expose it. He's going to take them down. This is not, and look, they can blame this on Donald Trump all they want to, Greg. But the point is that this is heaven's agenda. Donald Trump was appointed by the Lord himself to go after these people and to take them down. Now, if it's not Donald Trump, it'll be somebody else. But it will be Donald Trump because God's hand is upon him, like I wrote in the book, or God has anointed him for this very task. Right now, with the whole Barr thing right now, these guys are scared to death because this also leads into the military tribunals and a plethora of other things. I mean, you're going to see people go to prison for the rest of their lives. You're going to see, I believe you're going to see people suicide out. You're going to see people, executed for treason. You're going to see more treasonous acts exposed right now than we've ever seen in history. And again, when we talked about, we can kind of move into the military tribunals, where, it was the morning after Donald Trump was elected that I went public for the first time talking about these military tribunals. I'm on record.
I heard the tape.
Yep.
I think it was on was it on True News?
Yeah, I believe it was on True News.
I heard it myself. I heard it.
Right.
I heard you say, I keep getting this military tribunal. The Lord's telling me that he's going to, there's going to have courts and people that bring people to task. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the military tribunals, the Lord told me, would make Nuremberg look like a cakewalk. Well, if you look at the scope of the corruption in D.C. right now, if you look at what they're trying to do, they're trying to weasel their way out of this with Barr. They're trying to hold him in contempt. Why? Because the doors are closing in. And I will say this, tick-tock, because the sand's running out of the hourglass. These guys that are corrupt, I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care if you're Democrat, I don't care who you are, I don't care if you held the highest office in the land, you will be held accountable and God will take you down. Now, the one thing I will say about this, from a spiritual standpoint, is that I believe God gives every person on this earth a chance to repent and turn the other cheek and be forgiven for what they've done. But I will say this, that's not going to stop justice from being served. Justice is on the earth right now. It is going to be served, period. And I think these guys know it. They're in full-blown panic mode in Washington, D.C. And you got to remember, the length, the width, the depth, and the breadth of this thing, Greg, it's global. And we've even got people like in Australia right now that, or in England right now, who were part of this spying on Trump, who are in full-blown panic right now. So this is global. It's not just about America. God's not just setting America free. This is about taking down the entire Luciferian reign, who's been in control of the earth for centuries, thousands of years.
And listen, I want people to think this is not hyperbole. I mean, they had the head of GCHQ, the head of the British spy agencies, quit two or 3 days after Donald Trump. He was 51 years old.
Right.
They've been tagged with. They had a former MI6 spy doing this dossier. They teamed up along with Australia. Listen, when you're trying to remove a duly elected president from your nuclear-armed number one ally, that's treason in your country.
That's right.
I think Theresa May, if she approved this, and I don't see how she couldn't have known about it, because she was part of what their version of Homeland Security. I think this is a big deal. Tell me about this military tribunals. I mean, we talked about this. You brought this up, and I'm coming back to it, circling back around to it. It came up in the Kavanaugh hearings. You can listen to it for yourselves, folks. This is not something I think. This is something that happened in Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing with Lindsey Graham. Google Lindsey Graham, Kavanaugh military tribunal. It also happened, a month or so later, a few months later, with Dianne Feinstein, Senator Feinstein, doing the confirmation hearings, not for Supreme Court, but for a high federal court, Dan Collins. And she asked about it, and Collins said, I can't talk. Well, you don't have it. You can't talk. You won't talk about it. You don't have an opinion. It could come up in front of my court, says Collins. There's only about a minute-long exchange. Right. Tell me about apparently somebody thinks there's going to be military tribunals.
Absolutely. And, when I went public with that, I got criticized for that because people thought, well, there's no way there's going to be military tribunals, or because this was the day after. The Lord started showing me about a month before Donald Trump got elected. So when you think about this, the talk of military tribunals at the time was controversial. People looking at me like I'm nuts. And so but you look at the exchange between Kavanaugh and Lindsey Graham, and I'm paraphrasing with this, but I mean, this was like the shot heard across the world when he said, "Can a citizen be held for treason in America?" He said, "Yes." "Can they be in front of a military tribunal?" He said, "Yes." That's like the shot heard around the world right there.
Well, he also said people were executed for this. Yes, and he named the case.
Yes.
He named the case they got executed.
That's right. And see, again, they see the doors closing in on this thing. The sand's running out of the hourglass. They have nothing else left to play. Now, I will say this. People need to be very careful, keep your head on a swivel right now, because the false flags that these guys are going to use to try to intimidate the deep state, so to speak, may kick up. I've been warning about this for a while. When the mass arrests, there are mass arrests coming. I don't know what to tell people. There have been arrests going on. They just haven't been reporting on it. But when the mass arrests, the big people, when the big fish go down, so to speak, we need to be prepared for some civil unrest in places right now. It's nothing to be scared of. I'm not a doom and gloomer. It's just something we need to be prepared for is all.